Before I begin, I want to give a tribute to John Amos, who passed away apparently on August 21st, 2024. Why am I giving my condolences today? I don't know. They just released this. I don't want to speculate anything, but this is a brother who was a great actor for many decades. He played in Good Times as the father, James Earl. I'm sorry, James Evans Sr. Um, Strong Black American father, did everything that he could to take care of his family, living in the projects, and they killed him off the show, and it wasn't the same since. Michael Evans wasn't as militant. They didn't portray him as intelligent, but it did make a man out of JJ. And I don't think that James Senior, I'm sorry, James Junior, that did elevate him into manhood. He was able to take care of himself. At the same time, he was able to take care of his family. At the same time, he was still able to have a life of his own. But it's messed up. He also played in Roots as the adult Kunta Kinte. He also played in Let's Do It Again with Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier, and Jimmy Walker, who played his son, James Evans Jr. He also played in Mr. Cleo McDowell, a great character on Coming to America 1 and 2. He also played in a host of television shows and certain television movies. And he, like Martin, um, he played one of the greatest characters of all time, Tommy Strong, father, Mr. Strong. If you haven't checked it out, you're going to have to check out that episode. Black Americans, you know what time it is. So, with that being said, rest in peace, John Amos. He was a great, great human being, and he will be missed. My condolences to his Black American family. My condolences to his Black American friends. My condolences to his Black American fans. If you are not subscribed and you checked out the content and it hits you to the core, please make sure that you subscribe and share this with every single Black American that you know, whether they are a wrestling fan or not. It is very important as many, many messages come through this program. Last week, I um, read half of of a speech with Malcolm X called "Who Taught You to Hate Yourself," and it's very much relevant to the topics that I'm going to be discussing this evening. So I'm going to get started with that. Here, before the grand jury, because the coroner's jury is stacked against Negroes. The grand jury is stacked against Negroes. The press, the radio, the television, and the newspapers are stacked against Negroes. Los Angeles Police Department is stacked against Negroes, all except those who he has appointed into high positions. The control press, the white, the white inflames the white public against Negroes. The police are able to use it to paint the Negro community as a criminal element. The police are able to use the press to make the white Negroes, to make the white community believe that the Negro community is a criminal element. Then this automatically paves the way for the police to move into Negro communities, exercising Gestapo tactics, stopping any black man who is in his path on the sidewalk, whether he is guilty or whether he is innocent, whether he is well dressed or whether he is poorly dressed, whether he is educated or whether he is dumb, whether he is Christian or whether he is Muslim. As long as he is a black member of the Negro community, the white public thinks that this policeman is justified in going in there and trampling on that man's civil rights and that man's human rights. Once the police have convinced the white public that the so-called Negro community is a criminal element, he can then go in and question, brutalize, murder unarmed Negroes, innocent Negroes. And the white public is gullible enough to back them up. This makes the Negro community a police state. This makes the Negro neighborhood a police state. It's the most heavily patrolled. It has more police in it than any other neighborhood. Yet it has more crime in it than any other neighborhood. How can more cops? How can you have more cops and have more crime? It shows you that the cops must be in cahoots with the criminals. Who taught you the texture of your hair? The texture of your hair that God gave you. That God gave them so much that they put lye on it. Now, do you realize? Now, you know, brother, lye would eat a hole through steel, and you know your head isn't that hard. Who taught you? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the texture, the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. You know, before coming and asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask who yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you. We teach you to love the hair that God gives you. We teach you to love the skin that God blessed you with. Here you are, way out in the middle of the ocean, can't swim, worried about somebody that's in the bathtub and can't swim. On a side note, that goes for a hell of a lot of black Americans in America right here in 2024 leading to 2025. What the hell is y'all worried about? You can't swim worth a damn, and you worried about somebody in the bathtub who can't swim. You out in the middle of the ocean. How your goddamn self? You know, and that deprives from the government of revenue because he can't get into the whiskey bottle without going past the government seal. You know, because it's a government seal that you got to break before you open that bottle. You know, take it out your hands. You don't have to worry about that part of aspect at all. But please excuse me. This stuff I'm just lost. They put them in such tight little words. I lost my damn spot. You can't get a deck of cards without the government getting past the government seal. Hell, the white man makes the whiskey and puts you in jail for getting drunk. He sells you the cards and the dice and puts you to jail when he catches you using them. He's against us because we fix it to where he can't catch you anymore. We take the dice out of your hands and the cards out of your hand, and we take the whiskey out of your head. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and protect our women. And the only time a Muslim really gets violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We would kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain. Yes, we would kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever necessary it is that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands in the direction of our women. And I don't just go for the whites, they go for any ethnic group. We respect them, but we want them to respect us. We think that the law should respect the Negro community. The law should protect the Negro community. The law should approach the Negro community with intelligence. If it expects the Negro community to react intelligently. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to avoid anything that smacks of disrespect for the law. And if the police department tells the truth, they will have to admit that they have never had any experiences with Muslims that have ever been anything other than honorable unless they themselves come out at us in a dishonorable way. There's no case against the Muslims. There's no case against these brothers whom they shot down. And because there is no case, it's trying to create a case. It's trying to manufacture a case and therefore set up a grand jury hearing of the case so that they could hear it behind closed doors. And after hearing what we have to say, they'll some okay, I'm sorry, this is how they wrote it, but they'll their particular strategy of or defense against the action that is committed on April the 27th. So at the advice of our attorneys, we purposely victims who have been indicted on those charges. Okay. I need to skip past this part because this is describing that story, and this story has absolutely nothing to do with things, but I am going to hit key pieces. One thing that I have to say that pumps out of this is he told me, let me tell you something, and I'll tell you why. You say that we hate white folk. We don't hate anybody, but we love our own people so much that they think that we hate the ones that are inflicting injustices against them. Okay? It's another part right here that I'm gonna hit to. It said that this is after the cops shot all these people up. You know, he said, "What are you rushing for?" When the ambulance was on its way, he said, "What are you rushing for?" I'm sorry, I lost my place. Why didn't you kill the nigger if you got a chance? I swear he'll do that if he got away. Blah blah blah. Okay, what are the ambulance rushing for? Nothing but a bunch of niggers. So he looked down and saw the Muslim brother sitting beside him, and he shut up. But after he got to the jail, the same officer who said this turned to the brother and said, "I hope that you did not get offended by what I said back there under the heat of the moment, because some of my best friends are colored." That's what he said. That's his password. That some of my best friends are colored. I, for one, believe as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were truly intelligent enough, if he were made to realize how black people truly feel, how fed up we are without that whole compromising sweet talk, while you're the one that make it hard for yourself. The white man believes you when you come to him with that old sweet talk, because you've been sweet talking them ever since she brought you over here. Stop sweet talking the white man. Tell him how you feel. Tell him how or what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean up his house, then he shouldn't have a house. It should burn down, should catch on fire, and it should burn down as we get ready to wrestle with racism. So, like I said, I broke a couple of parts out of there because it was a particular situation as to why he brought that speech out. At the same time, the title of the speech, once again, was Who Taught You to Hate Yourself? Who taught you to have this deep inner hatred within yourself and within your peers? And he gave you different tactics as to why they make you believe that you hate yourself. You have to remember, this is an internal illness that Black Americans have within ourselves. because we find it harder and harder as the decades go by to separate ourselves. And I am going to talk about that later on once I get outside of the wrestling aspect of this, because there's a lot of things I have to get into. The vice presidential debate was last night. I didn't get a chance to watch NXT because of that. I was at a watch party for the debate. On Twitter up here is somewhere. I think I'll post it up, whatever. But it was some deep shit that came out of that last night. But one of the main things that I was kind of stressing to people is, since we are outnumbered in America by these Hispanics, this is going to be the very last presidential election that they choose to cater to us. And if you notice from last night and the last presidential debate, Black Americans weren't mentioned at all. So you could take that for what it is. I will be discussing that part later on. Another thing, I left my fucking notes. I left my notes. I had my shit all together yesterday, and then I was kind of going through some stuff when I was at work today, and I left my book bag in my locker for whatever reason. So I'm just going off the fly with this, because I pretty much know the stuff that I want to get into. The first thing that I want to get into is which one should I knock out the fucking way first? Okay, Bad Blood. That's the logical thing to knock out. Bad Blood is this Sunday. Bad Blood is Saturday or Sunday, whenever the fuck they choose to do it. Not featuring a single foundational Black American wrestling on the program. I told you all that this is going to become a new trend, especially since they have these 5 match PLEs. You got a lot of white folk out here trying to justify it by saying that, oh, um, you got people being heavily featured on Raw and SmackDown and NXT. Well, aren't the white folk that's on this pay per view, wasn't they on Raw, SmackDown too, trying to build to get to this pay per view? Same with these Asians, same with these Samoans, and same with these Hispanics. Yet we are left off. But one thing, and I broke down all of the PLEs since Triple H came into power, SummerSlam, August last year, 2023. And you get the rotation of Bianca Belair, Bianca Belair, Bianca Belair, add Jade Cargill in here, Bianca and Jade Cargill, Naomi get over here, add the Street Profits did something at WrestleMania in the Royal Rumble and shit. Then Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. This is all we get. This is the only representation that we get. And like I said, when you take these Black Americans out of the PLE, that hurts them economically, because they get substantial no bonus checks for being in participating in these PLEs. So men specifically, you look at Montez Ford isn't able to do nothing extra to earn money to be able to provide for his wife and his children. They just have to work off of their base salary. And since you are not pushing these people, since we have no absolute superstar in the WWE that's a Black American right now, I'm pretty sure their merchandise sales aren't doing work for them either. This is an economical problem that I'm looking at. And like I said, they doing this thing with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And once they, like I said, with the legendary faction, the legendary stable, the legendary group that these guys have been in, this is the first attempt at trying to break them up. How much effort are you going to put behind this legendary group breaking up? And and to check the sincerity of it, can you have Kofi Kingston and can you have Creed, what the fuck is his name? Xavier Woods be successful at the same time? Um, we're going to check the sincerity of that, because I know that this is going to be Xavier Woods' time to shine. I know that you could just see it in his face. He's been trying to do this for years, but it's obviously up to these creative writers, powers that be, to put him in that position, and they have not done it. So, what type of effort are you going to put into Xavier Woods, and how is Xavier Woods going to expand after this thing is ultimately over with? Because personally, I can see him disappearing. That's what it looked like it's going to lead to. But what white folk is going to tell me probably, because this is the way I can see, is that they're probably going to feud for a couple of months, and then the the PLE, the Raw before Survivor Series, they probably gonna main event that Raw. Xavier Woods versus Kofi Kingston, the Ghanaian versus the Black American. They finally gonna square off in this damn match, and it's gonna main event Raw. And white folk is gonna tell me that that's justified, that they aren't on the PLE. I don't know if white folk realize how ridiculous that sounds. So you telling me that we could be a part of the WWE, but we can't be a part of the WWE in every aspect. Niggers are relegated to just being on Raw and SmackDown, and we better be satisfied that we getting that. But then when you analyze Raw and SmackDown, well, I can't tell you what the Street Profits have been doing throughout 2024. Can't tell you off the top of my head. Yep, I thought about it. I can't do it. I can't tell you what the New Day has been doing off the top of my head. I can't tell you that. They're not putting the energy into making these brothers stand out. Like I said, mass majority of their energy has been focused on Bianca Belair, and that's because she is undeniably the best woman in the WWE right now. And I say best woman. She's better than all of your top nobodies. Yet they got Jade Cargill coming in right behind her, creeping up. And like I said, I'm worried and concerned because eventually they're going to put more effort behind Bianca Jade Cargill. And since they haven't done anything to elevate Bianca Belair, and people have been getting sick of Bianca Belair over the past 2 years because they haven't changed her character one iota. They haven't attempted to change her character in one single way. That's going to be their justification of getting rid of Bianca Belair. Unfortunately, I could just see it coming. In the meantime, they're going to use the hell out of her and expect us to be satisfied, as that is our only representation. And then, as Jade Cargill, no disrespect, is a Jamaican. And uh, Naomi, like, they just having her lose all over the place. So I just don't see them moving forward with Naomi at all either, unfortunately. And she's very talented her damn self. But you look at the men, so again, we're supposed to be satisfied with that. But you look at the fact that they have more Japanese women who are active on the WWE main roster than there are Black American women. So again, I'm not satisfied with the women, with the representation of women either. Especially when you got at least 10 women on each roster, and you just have the big three that you all want us to rely on. Excuse me, that shit not working for me either. So you look at the lack of success of the men in the WWE. You look at the lack of success of our truth. Just got into the spotlight this year. They haven't done a damn thing with our truth over the last couple of years. Now they're giving him more ring time. That is not acceptable to me. So what do people choose to do from there? When I reject them throwing out these names of the Street Profits, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing nobody. The Street Profits, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi. Take Jade Cargill out. B-Fab. She's the foundational Black American that they're not doing anything with at all. Um, that's it on the SmackDown side. On the Raw side, R Truth. and Xavier Woods. Yes, that's all the black Americans. So when I reject those, as those people proof that, there's progression, they tend to reach all the way down to NXT. Now, as I said, I didn't watch NXT last night. The vice presidential debate was on. I was on another space talking about that, but I did find out what happened. And I am going to watch certain matches later on if I get the time later on, or if not, then I'll watch it sometime this week. But Trick Williams won the NXT championship. Ethan Page. And let me say this. I'm an Ethan Page fan. I think that Ethan Page, it was good that Ethan Page held the title for them to, put him out there and show his talent, because I've known Ethan Page's name, but I did not know that he had the capabilities in which he had, and I'm glad that they expressed that. But it appears that they're moving him on to the main roster over Trick Williams, right? But that's cool. Let Trick Williams build NXT. As long as they are making Trick Williams the face of NXT, let him build. And been happy, more than happy with the progression of Wesley over I mean, my God, Wesley has always been good, but he's been stepping it up more and more and more and more. So when we talk about booking, maybe Shawn Michaels need to be booking these main rosters, and Triple H need to bring his ass down to NXT. I don't know, because I'm not feeling Triple H's booking. And since there are a lack of Black American wrestler success in the WWE, I haven't just sat down and watched the WWE, because not even their white storylines are interesting to me. It's not. We fooling ourselves somehow to thinking that this shit is good when in actuality it's not. But I don't have an issue sitting down watching 2 hours of NXT. But on the last episode, I challenged people. I said, okay, because historically people always reached down to NXT to grab Velveteen Dream and his success. However, Velveteen Dream had some foul ass allegations against him. Foul ass allegations. That wasn't true. And he wasn't charged and he wasn't convicted of anything. Just like Odyssey Jones is going through right now. And he lost his job and he's never been able to bounce back from that. White folk reached all the way down to NXT a few years ago to tell me about the success of Keith Lee. And Keith Lee is not only not in the WWE today, he is in AEW, and AEW, which is a racist organization itself, and I'm going to get into, is not featuring him either. There's no reports that Keith Lee is injured. Where the fuck is Keith Lee? They reached all the way down to NXT from a few years ago to tell me the success of la 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 la. Oh, God, I can't even think of that person's name right now. I'm not even about to go there. It was another person that they reached all the way down, but you notice that they are not there. So when you take this current roster, and like I said, the challenge was to look at this current roster, look at Trick Williams. Oh, Carmelo Hayes was on SmackDown. I'm sorry that I completely missed him. And Carmelo Hayes is doing well, and he has one of the top feuds on SmackDown with Andrade. This is something that I will tune in to see. He has a progressive feud with Andrade, and they're still not on the pay-per-view. So what excuses are you people going to give on that? Carmelo Hayes is probably the best, and Andrade is probably the best feud on television right now, besides Wesley and NXT and what he got going on. But just on the main roster aspect, but he still can't be featured in the pay per view. So stop trying to give me this bullshit. Sometimes you just got to take things as it is. It's a system of white supremacy via anti blackness. Sometimes you just got to accept that. so that we can move forward. But you probably don't want change, but there are hundreds of thousands of Black American fans that do want change. We need that change. So technically, white folk, this isn't even a conversation for you. But check the success of Trick Williams a year from now. See if he's on the main roster or see if he's on NXT and see his standings, his positioning, whether he's still a top main eventer in NXT, that will be fine. Or is he mid, at least a mid card player on Raw or SmackDown and it make it seem like he has a good upside? Same thing with Wesley. Check and see where he's going to be a year from now. Check and see where Last Legend, another foundational Black American woman, is going to be a year from now. You check out this tether. I'm not gonna call him a tether. You check out Obafemi, who is a Nigerian, who is probably the best thing that they are going to have come out of NXT. He has been very impressive. And I do want to clarify something because I did slip and was about to call him a tether. I can't call him a tether because he is clearly in tune with his culture and he hasn't shown any disrespect. And by the way, I forgot to mention this too. Dikembe Mutombo passed away as well. Rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo, who's a very great center, basketball player, who affected the game in many ways. This isn't something that you're gonna look at this man and be like, "Oh shit, he a superstar." But if you're a true basketball fan, you know how he played his game, and you know how successful he was at it. He was a great player, had a lot of tangibles in this game, and he was not only he was a great humanitarian, he was not disrespectful to Black Americans, which would make him not be a tether. He did not cosplay on our culture. He did not disrespect his culture. And matter of fact, he had many charitable things in America, and he was able to take care of his homeland, building schools and helping out a lot of people within his homeland. And he came over here and he had respect for us. So I have respect for him. Rest in peace. You know, I don't have that shows you I don't have anything against other melanated people, but you have to come over and be respectful. And there have been a lot of disrespectful people from other ethnic groups, but like I said, I'm gonna discuss that when I get off the wrestling aspect. I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself. But the thing is, this is the key though that I want people to see. I want Obafemi to have that success, the upcoming success that I believe that they are going to put behind him because he seems like he's the man to do the job. He may actually be better than Gunther. However, will they present him as Gunther, as they did Gunther? You know he has the ability to hold the Intercontinental championship for 2 years, and you know he have the ability to be a world champion within the next 3 or 4 years. So we're going to look out for that. That will be a big fumble if they were to fuck it up. However, I do want his success. I do want his success, but that don't mean I want his success at the expense of foundational Black Americans. And if you are going to make him be the only successful melanated person and not choose to present Black Americans properly and consistently, then then that you can't use Obafemi to prove your point. Barry, what's going on? Welcome to Wrestling with Racism.
Hey, what's going on, fella? What's going on?
How you
What's
doing?
going on? Oh, I'm alright. I'm alright. Yeah, I left a comment in the comment section, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. The WWE can go to hell, man, because the way they did Bobby Lashley MVP, I mean, I still haven't gotten over that, man. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they got all these other.
You breaking out. I can't hear you at all. Hey, Barry, I can't hear you at all. You cut out.
Me now? Can you hear me
I can
now?
hear you.
Oh shit! Can you hear me now?
You know
Damn!
what?
Can you
I'm
hear me
sorry.
now?
No, you know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, I can hear you. It may have been me. My Bluetooth ended up connecting. I'm sorry. You
Oh,
can go
okay.
ahead.
No, I was saying, like I said, I was off and on checking out the this whole WWE thing because, like I said, way back when, after the '80s, I fell out of.
Right. Oh, fuck. Now, Barry, if you talking, it went out again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I had this problem the last time.
Right, right.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Now I was saying, now I was saying, I started to tune in during the pandemic, like a little bit, check it out. I was quite gravitated towards people like, the whole Hurt Business, Street Profits, Bianca Belair, you know what I mean? And, it seemed like to me after 2022, you started to see a shift with those particular characters, you know what I mean? As far as the way they were put on screen and everything, man. And the way they did Bobby Lashley MVP still has a bad taste in my mouth. I don't even acknowledge the shit no more. You know what I mean?
And you
Because
know
I knew
what?
it was,
You know what's really pissing me off about that Bobby Lashley thing?
yeah.
The fact that people are using his age as an excuse as to why he let
Right,
him go.
right. And now they say, oh well, WWE's in a better place without him, and all that stuff. And he was old and he was overrated and blah blah blah. Now they talking about putting people like Jade Cargill is going to be a bigger superstar than Bobby Lashley and all that
So,
stuff.
do you know that when you was watching in the '80s, that Hulk Hogan was in his 40s?
No. Well, yeah, close to it, damn to
So
it.
yeah, he was. So and then in the '90s, that means he was still wrestling in his 50s. In the 2000s, he was wrestling in his 60s. So this is just showing you this, the white folks just being hypocritical because Sheamus is 46, and they are elated that he got signed to a 5-year contract. He's a
Yeah,
year younger than Bobby
right,
Lashley,
right, right,
and
right.
Sheamus spent most of his career hurt. The last 10 years, he spent most of that time hurt. You
Right. I
know,
mean, I can't go into the optics of it. I don't know the gist of it, all that stuff. Like I said, I didn't start watching wrestling. I didn't start watching it again till like the past since like 2020, the whole pandemic thing. That's when I kind of tuned in and tuned out. But I knew certain shit grabbed my attention. You know what I mean? And, like
yeah. Well, I mean, 2021 was a big year for dark melanated Black Americans too, because, like you said, Bobby Lashley was the champion. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander was tag team champions. Bianca Belair was the women's champion, and I think that they had Big E was the Intercontinental champion. You know, that was the first time that we saw something like that. But look how quickly that faded away. So, do you watch AEW or do you check out AEW? You there? Damn, if you speaking, I can't hear you. All right, if you speaking, I can't hear you. So you might need to drop down and come back up. But just to keep it going right quick, apparently Bobby Lashley is going to AEW. MVP was on AEW the other day with Prince Nana, kind of insinuating that they was going to do something with Swerve. You there?
yeah, I'm here. But I heard about that. But I feel like, man, they still should be in WWE. But you got Triple K out here. You know what I mean? Putting his favorites ahead and everything. All that stuff. And I don't know, man. Which leads me to like, why would you think? they clearly see Bianca Belair as the superior all around athlete to Jade Cargill.
Right.
Why do you
In every
think
way.
that? Yeah, yeah. But why do you think they would pivot off her for a more lesser talented Jade Cargill, who
Well,
hasn't
like
really, done anything or accomplished closest to what she has? They're just trying to put her up there on. They're trying to, put her on that level, but I don't see her making it there. As much as people
they're
want to
going to
say she
force they're
is.
going to force her to make it there because the thing is very, like I said, America is very much so parallel with professional wrestling, and what they do is they use these other melanated people. Bianca Belair is a black American, and if they could
Right,
help it, they would use these other melanated people to specifically undermine us, to say that, hey, we have black representation. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And it's
right,
not us. That's mainly what it is. Because if you truly cared about Bianca Belair and you recognize that Jay Cargill needs some work, they wouldn't be teaming them together. They would be
right,
working.
right, right.
They would be working with Jay Cargill by herself.
Exactly. I mean, I never understood that tag team shit. That tag team shit, everybody's celebrating, everybody's saying, "Oh, you just being a hater and all that stuff." You know what I mean? Like, nah, man. Why should Bianca Belair have her name attached to?
Why should she have to hold up her career to hold somebody else's hand? You know, and they don't do that with other people. They don't do that with white folk. Either you got it or you don't. You know. Um, I'm sorry, ambulance going by, but or the fire truck or whatever. Sorry about that. But you know, they don't do this with other people. They do this, and another thing too, though. Jade Cargill do have an undeniable look, and since she do have that undeniable look, that unique look, because you don't see a lot of women that's built like her in wrestling today. That they are kind of spreading her out there that quickly though. But like I said, it's at the detriment of Bianca Belair. Uh, do you think that they should do something different with Bianca? Maybe try to go heel or change her character up a little bit. I don't know. If you talking, I can't hear you. You probably gonna have to drop down and come back up because I honestly can't hear you.
Hold on, can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
But I was saying, like, nah, they shouldn't change her character because she's a great inspiration with a lot of black women and black people. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's just like,
Specifically little girls.
you know what I mean? Yeah, and women too, the black women too, strong black
Yeah,
women too. You know what I mean?
because we
No,
never
no,
seen
no.
nobody
Fill
like
my fries. There were ones onion rings in there, but fill the fries up a little bit more.
because we never seen Bianca Belair is authentic to us, and it comes off authentic. Generally, when they bring certain black people out, they don't seem as authentic, and it's because of how they're being written, and it's because of how they're being produced. But Bianca Belair do bring some authenticity, and it's good for Black American boys, girls, men, women to see that because this goes right along with the media. The media paints us in a lower light than they would them. I'll just say it like that. So it's a supremacy thing. Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all these white folk have an opportunity to be presented as gods. And Bianca Belair was one of the first black people, not just men or women, one of the first black people to be presented as a god. But we need to see more of that because, like I said, my problem, and I'm want to get on Black American wrestling fans too. It's funny too because we can't necessarily know if they're Black American or not. Some people do hide, but like you got that guy. I don't know if you're familiar with Alfred Kawana, uh, who troll with his people. He just troll. He's from Liberia, and he's cosplaying on us. But it's been reports because that there are no Black Americans wrestling that Bad Blood coming up in Atlanta on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. And again, it's been talks online about, hey, what's going on? Why is this becoming a trend? We wasn't on SummerSlam. Then they go back to say a black man has not won on pay-per-view in over 791 days, almost 800 days. And the last person to do that was Bobby Lashley when he beat Brock Lesnar by DQ. And again, Bobby Lashley is a Panamanian. So it's even been further since a black American man has won. And this is during the Vince McMahon era. This is way before Triple H too. We talking about over 2 years. Um, so it pisses me off when I see these black people, supposed black people, supposed black Americans, say that it's not an issue. Say the WWE don't have a racial problem because once again they reach all the way down to NXT. How do you feel about these raccoons in the business? That's. Do you think that they hurting? Do you believe they hurting our cause and trying to advocate for more Black American wrestlers because of the WWE may tend to listen to them when they say that it isn't a problem if you there? Because I asked Triple H tagged them
Can
a
you hear
lot
me?
of times. Yeah, I can hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Nah, it's not just relegated to entertainment, whatever. It's a systematic problem. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
just like a problem within our the infrastructure of our society. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunately you got a lot of black people that you know they turn a blind eye, they turn a deaf ear to that. You know what I mean? And it's just like people that say ain't no such thing as racism.
Hmm. How could it not be? You went out again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I was saying like it's not just with this entertainment industry. It's like a systematic problem, man. You know, what I mean, you got a lot of black folks that have been brainwashed, that have been bamboozled by the media. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like certain black people, you know what I mean, are being painted in a negative light. You know what I mean? People like LeBron James, Deshaun Watson, Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Anything
Yeah.
that
You cut out. You cut out.
yo, can you hear
There you
me?
go. Yeah, there you go.
No, I was saying like a lot of these athletes are being subjugated by our self-hate, by our own people, man. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like a lot of people, and I'm talking about people like LeBron James, Floyd Mayweather, Deshaun Watson, on and off the field, on and off the court. Any like negative light therein, we as a people have tendency to believe these white supremacists over us.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like just look, they really trying to run Deshaun Watson out of the league. They really trying to run Deshaun Watson out of the league over false allegations.
And do you think that they do that out of maybe because they feel protected? They scared. They don't want to buck the system. They want to be good little Negroes and just don't want to buck the system.
Well, they don't want. Well, it's a whole bunch of that, and then into it's a lot of resentment with our community too. A lot of jealousy and resentment with our.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, and these is all white supremacist keys to keep us against each other. At the end of the day, it's white supremacists that's making us as a people hate ourselves and to hate each other. That's why I was reading passages out of the "Who Taught You to Hate Yourself" by Malcolm X. I did it on the last one, and then I did it to start this one. You know, they got tactics to do that, and like I said, it's still an internal illness within inside of us to want to hate ourselves because of how white supremacists put out in the media what is beauty and what is ugly. I did the definition. I read the definitions of white, and I read the definition of black. And everything black is just ugly. That's by
Right,
definition.
right.
You
But
know.
here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. You got these white supremacists out here, right? That
Hmm.
are trying to put a definition on.
Shit, you breaking out again?
Damn it. Can you hear
You
me
good?
now?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Now I was saying like these white supremacists have managed to brainwash us into thinking in certain aspects we supposed to think certain aspects we think should be black. You know what I mean? Certain shit that has to be black. Certain things that has to be black. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, a certain definition of way has to.
Hmm. And it's unfortunate. This caused a little more division, but again, those type of people we gotta kind of throw to the side. We gotta push them to the side. If we not on the same page, you know, hopefully you wouldn't do anything to hinder the way that I'm trying to go. You could hate on something, but you don't have to fucking try to block nothing. That's my thing. Don't try to block what's progress. If you feel like you're not strong enough to fight for something, let the people that's strong enough to fight for something go to work for you. But don't hate on it. You know, and it got down to the point. Before I started this, somebody trying to see if I could get it right now. I had just posted this. No, okay, so you know when they was talking about this big post, the main thing it says from Cataholic Wrestling, it says WWE has reported that they are now aware that it is a thing that I don't think that is likely to come to my. Okay, I'm sorry. WWE is reportedly now aware that the lack of black representation for black male wrestlers on pay
Yeah,
per
right
views.
here. Large, I see yours.
Huh?
I see yours. No, no, I mean, go ahead. Keep talking. Keep
No,
talking.
I
Go
got you. I
ahead.
got you.
Got it.
So, you know, somebody responded. It's this a supposed black dude that responded. I've never cared about representation. I mean, if I do, I actually use brain cells to think about it. I guess having some different flavors is okay. I just want to be entertained in the end. I've never thought about race on the screen, so something must be wrong with me. Whatever. And some white person had posted after that. It's refreshing seeing an actual black man speak on the subject. I hit him with the, if you were in his presence, you would pat him on the head, wouldn't you? Because that's what these motherfuckers is pretty much asking for. You know, and they get their little white buddies and shit. Finally, look, we got a nigger to agree. Look, there is no such thing to racism because the nigger just said so. We got to cut them motherfuckers out. We got to cut them motherfuckers out. Uh, I am going to hop off of wrestling in a minute. It's I think like two more things I gotta hop on the wrestling. But are you aware where do you stand on this election right now? If you don't mind me asking, if you there, I want to know where you stand on the
Can you hear me?
election.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I really don't care about either candidate. You know what I mean? I've
Mm-hmm.
pretty much washed my hands of the Democratic Party years ago, several years back. But I don't know, man. It seems like with what Trump is bringing to the table, with what Trump's bringing to the table, and everything else, it's seem like
You cut out. You cut out. You cut out. Yeah, if you speaking, I can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Now I was saying, you didn't catch it. Like I said, I pretty much wash my hands of the Democratic Party because to me it's just like they're no they're no they're no different than these big business Republicans who are only out here for just to cater to business, to these
Hmm.
big businesses and all that shit.
Yeah, you cutting out again.
Neither candidate is qualified. You know what I
Not
mean?
at all.
Neither candidate is qualified. You know what I mean? I washed my hands of the Democratic Party years ago. Years ago. And for me, it's like they're no different than the Republicans, man. You know what I mean? They just want the street about it, you
Well,
know?
they all work. It seems like they all. It don't seem like they do. They work hand in hand. They work for one another. You
Pretty
know,
much. Pretty much.
they
Pretty much.
they work for one another. And then it's funny because you always talk about, oh, you got people switching, and you got people from Democrats switching to Republican, people from Republicans switching to Democrat. Who the fuck got time for all these goddamn games? You know what I'm saying?
Never,
At the end of
never,
the day,
no, I
nobody
don't.
putting anything tangible out for us at all. We're not a discussion. I listened to that entire debate last night where we wasn't a discussion at all.
It
I
wasn't
listened
even
to the
brought up.
we wasn't even brought up.
Right, right,
We
right,
wasn't brought up in the last Kamala and Donald Trump shit. We wasn't brought up. So right now, at least on paper, what they say is it's about 20 million more Hispanics in America than Black Americans, right?
Oh yeah, that's easy. That's not even a question. It's not even a
And
question. It's not
that
even
was
a question.
according to the 2022 census. So now they probably had to at least hit 5 million over the last 2 years.
It's
Three
probably it's
three to
probably
five million.
yeah, it's probably more than that. It's probably more than that if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because you can take into the count, the people, that's they didn't count that's in the country illegally, you know.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? There are a lot of people coming over from, Mexico, Mexico, South
I'm getting
America, you know what I
Venezuelans.
mean?
I'm getting Venezuelans out here in Detroit. They say they
That's what
from
I'm saying.
Venezuela.
That's what I'm saying.
Chicago
Venezuela,
getting hit like a motherfucker.
Colombia, all that stuff, everything, man. So it's like, for me,
Well, I say
no,
that
no,
because people. I say that because people was kind of relying on Trump to do a mass deportation. When they asked JD Vance about the mass deportation, he said their very first thing, he said they have over 1 million criminals. Their first thing to do is to get rid of those criminals, which told me automatically that's some bullshit because they about to go through how they gonna discern who is a criminal and what. They not about to mass deport nobody. And what's happening now is all you gonna see a bunch of these pregnant ass fucking immigrants and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna
right.
be a bigger fight. So I
Yeah.
look at it as America overall, Republicans or Democrats, is not interested in getting rid of these people at all. And with that being said, Black Americans, this is the last election, and they not even pandering to us. This is the last election they ever had to pander to us again.
And I tell you what, by the time 2028 comes around, we're gonna be a non-factor. You know what I mean? We not even gonna count
Bro, we are
because
not
it's gonna be
feeling
so
like we
many.
are non-factor right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It seems like every vote matters and all that bullshit, right? But we know better from what happened in 2000 and what happened in 2004 with all that bullshit that went on and everything, right? We know, we know what happened. We know
Yeah.
what happened. You know what I mean? So it's like, does our vote actually count? Does our vote
No.
actually count? All
It
these,
never it never did because even if we got the person that we elected, uh we still got the ass end of everything if we got it at all. So
Yeah.
technically, no, it
Right.
didn't come.
Right.
You know, if
Right.
you had
Right.
special interests, you know, certain people vote because they got certain special interests, and I can understand that. But when it doesn't help your people, when you got a factor that doesn't help your people at all, you know, and then you got people out here like Dr. Cornell West. I don't know if you're familiar with him, and he's
Yeah.
running.
Yeah. I am. I am. I am. I am.
Yeah,
He's
he
running. He's running
running.
as independent. He's running as independent. I think. Am I right or wrong
He,
about that?
yeah, no, he called his the People Party.
The people.
So yeah,
That's
he running
nice.
independent. And speaking about reparations, you can go to drcornelwest.com or cornelswest.com. He got a plan for reparations. He got a plan to get free health care for everybody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This
Right.
is what he's
Right.
openly talking about, but the media, the mass media, isn't even mentioning him. Even the white lady, you got a white
No.
lady
No.
named
No.
Jill
No.
Stein. You know, she was on the Breakfast Club talking about reparations and talking about things key to black people, and they're not giving this woman the time of day. They're still fighting to get on certain ballots. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
the fact that they won't even put these people, and I'm not saying that they good candidates or not. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is they're not even giving these people who are collecting donations to run for president and to hit the requirements to do what they're supposed to do to, you know, make a campaign. They won't even put them on the debate. They won't debate them. They won't mention them.
Right. Right.
That's not fair to us, and that's not fair to anyone else. And this is what I've been trying to stress to Black Americans over the last month or two. You know, this we got to just start trying to develop candidates for ourselves.
And
Get
that's what
on
I've
one
been
accord.
saying. That's what I've been saying. But we so dependent. We so we've been like tethered to where we gotta depend on Democrats. We gotta depend on Democrats. Democrats is the way
Hmm.
to go. Like, I mean, it's like we put our minds together. We put we put everything together, man. We could have been at our own party. We could have been.
You broke out. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was saying, we put our heads together and shit, and we're enough people to do that. We could have been at our own administration. We didn't even get to the
Hmm.
point where we didn't even need the Democratic Party no more. We could have been kicked them to the side, but we're mentally enslaved. We've been mentally charged to where Democrat is the only way to go. You know what I mean? As far as the people who,
But see, I
been
can't say I got it. But you know what? When you say that, when you say the Democrats too, I just got to make. I know that you're there now, but at least you still got to bring them to Democrat, Republican. I'm gonna put them words together. Democrat, Republican. None of these motherfuckers. Thing is, Republicans
right,
never
right,
promise us anything either. You know what I'm saying? They
right,
just point the
right,
finger to the Democrats and tell us how much devils they are.
right, right. Man, the reason I didn't mention Republicans because they never had our best interests in it. And the
Right.
people who
So
are
yeah,
and the people of our ilk